Ghost Story by
Title: Ghostly Encounter. It was a dark and stormy night, and Emily was driving home from her job at the local library. The rain was coming down so hard that she could barely see the road ahead of her. As she drove through the deserted countryside, she suddenly heard a strange noise coming from her car engine. Emily pulled over to the side of the road and got out to take a look. But as she lifted the hood of her car, she saw something that made her blood run cold. There, standing in front of her, was a ghostly figure. It was a young woman dressed in a white dress with long black hair that was soaked with rain. Emily was frozen with fear, unable to move or scream. The ghostly figure began to approach her slowly, and as it got closer, Emily could see that the woman's eyes were filled with sadness and pain. "Who are you?" Emily whispered, her voice barely audible over the sound of the rain. The ghostly figure didn't respond, but instead reached out a hand and touched Emily's shoulder. Emily felt a cold shiver run down her spine as she realized that the ghostly woman was trying to tell her something. Suddenly, Emily was transported back in time to the 1800s. She found herself standing in a field, surrounded by tall grass and wildflowers. The ghostly woman was there too, standing next to a small, run-down farmhouse. Emily watched in horror as she saw the woman's husband drag her out of the farmhouse and beat her to death in the field. The ghostly woman's eyes filled with tears as she looked at Emily, pleading with her to help. Emily knew that she had to do something to help this poor woman. She reached out and took the woman's hand, and suddenly they were both back in the present day. The ghostly figure looked at Emily and smiled, then slowly faded away into the night. Emily knew that she had helped the woman find peace at last, and as she got back into her car and drove away, she felt a sense of peace and happiness that she had never felt before. From that day on, Emily knew that she had a special gift, the ability to connect with the spirits of the dead and help them find the peace they deserved. And while it was a gift that sometimes brought her great sadness and pain, she knew that it was worth it to help those who had no one else to turn to.